Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2022 Poetry Out Loud competition for LA County. I am Janine Flores. I'm the Arts and STEAM Coordinator at the Los Angeles County Office of Education. And I'd like to introduce my co-host.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. We are so happy to have you joining us today for this wonderful recitation of poems. Just to let you know, all of our participants will be delivering 2 poems, 1 in each round. And we have a wonderful panel of judges that will be judging them accordingly. And then at the end, we will announce our runner-up and our champion.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Deborah Eduardo, the Los Angeles County Superintendent of Schools, and I want to welcome you to our annual Poetry Out Loud competition. In just a moment, we will see the talent, dedication, artistry, and commitment of our LA County High School student performers. But before we begin, I want to extend gratitude to the teachers, administrators, organizers, and coaches who made Poetry Out Loud possible during this very difficult year. We acknowledge all the time and effort involved to make this event happen, and we're so proud of our competing high school students. Their passion for spoken word and poetry is evident in their performances, so without any further ado, on with the show.
Hi, I'm Audrey SCHLIEF. I go to Hamilton High School, and this is The World is About to End and My Grandparents Are in Love by Kara Jackson. Still, living like they orbit one another, my grandfather the planet, and grandma his moon assigned by some gravitational pull. They have loved long enough for a working man to retire. Grandma says she's not tired. She wears her husband like a coat that survives every season. Talks about him the way my parents talk about vinyl, the subject salvaged by the tent of their tongues. Grandma returns to her love like a hymn, marks it with a color. When the world ends, will it suck the earth of all its love? Will I go taking somebody's hand, my skin becoming their skin? The digital age is taking away our winters. And I'm afraid the sun is my soulmate. The waste waits for a wet kiss. Carbon calls me pretty, and I think death is a good first date. I hope when the world ends, it leaves them be. Spares Grandpa and his game. Grandma spinning corn into weight. The two of them reeling into Western theme songs. The TV louder than whatever's coming.
Summer by Chen. You are the ice cream sandwich connoisseur of your generation. Blessed are your floral shorteralls, your deeply pink fanny pack with travel size lint roller just in case. Level of splendiferous in your outfit, 200. Types of invisible pain stemming from adolescent disasters in classrooms, locker rooms, and quite often Toyota Camrys. At least 10,000. You are not a Jigglypuff. Not yet a Wigglytuff. Reporters and fathers call your generation the worst. Which really means queer kids who could go online and learn that queer doesn't have to mean disaster or dead. Instead, queer means splendiferously you. And you means someone who knows that common flavors of ice cream sandwiches in Singapore include red bean, yam, and honeydew. Your powers are great, are growing. One day you will create an online personality quiz that also freshens the breath. The next day, you will tell your father, you were wrong to say that I had to change. To make me promise I would. To make me promise and promise.
Sonnet 29 by William Shakespeare. When, in disgrace with fortune men's eyes, I, all alone, beweep my outcast state, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself, and curse my fate, wishing, like to one more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art or that man's scope, with what I most enjoy, contented least. Yet, in these thoughts myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, and then my state, like to the lark at break of day, rising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love, remember, such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings.
300 Goats by Naomi Shihab Nye. In icy fields is water flowing in the tank, while they huddle together, warm bodies pressing. Is it the year of the goat or the sheep? Scholars debating Chinese zodiac, follower or leader. Oh, lead them to a warm corner, little ones toward bulkier bodies. Lead them to the brush which cuts the icy wind, another frigid night swooping down. Aren't you worried about them? I asked my friend, who lives by herself on the ranch of goats, far from here near the town of Ozona. She shrugs. Not really. They know what to do. They're goats.
Hi, I'm Hannah PINCHUK, and I will be reciting the poem I Felt a Funeral in My Brain by Emily Dickinson. I felt a funeral in my brain, and mourners to and fro kept treading, till it seemed that sense was breaking through. And when they all were seated, a service like a drum kept beating, till I thought my mind was going numb. And then I heard them lift a box and creak across my soul with those same boots of lead again. Then space began to toll, as all the heavens were a bell, and being but an ear, and I and silence, some strange race, wrecked solitary here. And then a plank in reason broke, and I dropped down and down, and hit a world at every plunge, and finished knowing. Then
Beginning by James Wright. The moon drops one or two feathers into the field. The dark wheat listens. Be still. Now. There they are, the moon's young, trying their wings. Between trees, a slender woman lifts up the lovely shadow of her face. And now, she steps into the air. Now, she's gone, wholly into the air. I stand alone by an elder tree. I do not dare breathe or move. I listen. The wheat leans back toward its own darkness, and I lean toward mine.
One Art by Elizabeth Bishop. The art of losing isn't hard to master. So many things seem filled with the intent to be lost that their loss is no disaster. Lose something every day, except the fluster of lost door keys, the hour badly spent. The art of losing isn't hard to master. Then practice losing farther, losing faster, places and names and where it was you meant to travel. None of these will bring disaster. I lost my mother's watch, and look, my last or next to last of 3 loved houses went. The art of losing isn't hard to master. I lost 2 cities, lovely ones, and vaster, some realms I owned, 2 rivers, a continent. I miss them, but it wasn't a disaster. Even losing you, I shan't have lied. It's evident the art of losing's not too hard to master, though it may look like disaster.
Burning in the Rain by Richard Blanco. Someday, compassion would demand I set myself free of my desire to recreate my father, indulge in my mother's losses, strangle lovers with words, forcing them to confess for me and take the blame. Today was that day. I tossed them sheet by sheet on the patio and gathered them into a pyre. I wanted to let them go in a blaze, tiny white dwarfs imploding beside the azaleas and ficus bushes. Let them crackle, burst like winged seeds. Let them smolder into Gossamer embers, 1,000 gray butterflies in the wind. Today was that day, but it rained. Kept raining. Instead of fire, water. Drops knocking on doors, wetting windows into mirrors, reflecting me in the oaks. The garden walls and stones swelling into ghostlier shades of themselves. The wind chimes giggling in the storm. A coffee cup left overflowing with rain. Instead of burning, my pages turned into water lilies, floating over puddles. Then tiny white cliffs as the sun set, finally drying all night under the moon into papier-mâché souvenirs. Today, the rain would not let their lives burn.
Hello, my name is Ashley MACIAS, and the title of my poem is Border Boy by Alberto Rios. I grew up on the border, and though I left, I have brought it with me wherever I've gone. Its line guides me, its long, winding thread of memory. The border wasn't as big as they say. Fit neatly behind my eyes and between my ears. It guides me still, I know, but it is not a compass. It is not a place out there, but a place in here. I catch on its barbed wire in both places. It is a line I step over and a ledge I duck under. I have looked underneath its skirts and it has caught me many times. We're old friends. We play the game well. When someone says border, now or frontera, or the line, la línea, or the fence, or whatever else we name the edge and the end of things, I hear something missing in the words. But what it all used to be, its name does not include its childhood. I grew up liking the border and its great scar. Its drama always good for a story, the way scars always are. A scar is the place where the hurting used to be. The scar, the heroic signature of the healed. Border is not a scar. Instead, it is something we keep picking at. Something that has no name. The border I knew was something with history. But this thing now, it is a stranger, even to itself. Thank you.
The World is About to End and My Grandparents Are in Love by Kara Jackson. Still, living like they orbit one another. My grandfather, the planet, and Grandma, his moon, assigned by some gravitational pull. They have loved long enough for a working man to retire. Grandma says she's not tired. She wears her husband like a coat that survives every season, talks about him the way my parents talk about vinyl, the subject salvaged by the tent of their tongues. Grandma returns to her love like a hymn, marks it with a color. When the world ends, will it suck the earth of all its love? Will I go, taking somebody's hand, my skin becoming their skin? The digital age is taking away our winters, and I'm afraid the sun is my soulmate. That waste waits for a wet kiss. Carbon calls me pretty, and I think death is a good first date. I hope when the world ends it leaves them be. Spares Grandpa and his game, Grandma spinning corn into weight, the two of them reeling into Western theme songs, the TV louder than whatever's coming.
I'm Audrey SCHLIEF. I go to Hamilton High School, and this is Summer by PINCHUK. You are the ice cream sandwich connoisseur of your generation. Blessed are your floral shorteralls, your deeply pink fanny pack with travel-sized lint roller just in case. Level of splendiferous in your outfit 200. Types of invisible pain stemming from adolescent disasters in classrooms, locker rooms, and quite often Toyota Camrys. At least 10,000. You are not a Jigglypuff. Not yet a Wigglytuff. Reporters and fathers call your generation the worst, which really means queer kids who could go online and learn that queer doesn't have to mean disaster or dead. Instead, queer means splendiferously you. And you means someone who knows that common flavors for ice cream sandwiches in Singapore include red bean, yam, and honeydew. Your powers are great, are growing. One day you will create an online personality quiz that also freshens the breath. The next day you will tell your father, you were wrong to say that I had to change, to make me promise I would, to make me promise and promise.
Snowflake by William Bear. Timing's everything. The vapor rises high in the sky, tossing to and fro, then freezes suddenly and crystallizes into a perfect flake of miraculous snow. For countless miles, drifting east above the world, whirling about in a swirling free-for-all, appearing aimless, just like love. But sensing, seeking out its destiny, falling to where the two young skaters stand, hand in hand, then flips and dips and whips itself about to ever so gently land. A miracle across her unkissed lips. As he blocks the wind raging from the south, leaning forward to kiss her lovely mouth.
Thoughtless Cruelty by Charles Lamb. There, Robert, you have killed that fly. And should you 1,000 ages try the life you've taken to supply, you could not do it. You surely must have been devoid of thought and sense, to have destroyed a thing in which no way you annoyed, you'll one day rue it. 'Twas but a fly, perhaps you'll say, that's born in April, dies in May, that does but just learn to display his wings 1 minute, and in the next is vanished quite. A bird devours it in its flight, or come a cold blast in the night. There's no breath in it. The bird but seeks his proper food and providence, whose power endued that fly with life when it thinks good, may justly take it. But you have no excuses for it, a life by nature made so short. Less reason is that you for sport should shorter make it. A fly, a little thing you rate, but Robert, do not estimate a creature's pain by small or great. The greatest being can have but fibers, nerves, and flesh, and these the smallest ones possess, although their frame and structure less escape our seeing.
Hope is a Thing with Feathers by Emily Dickinson. Hope is a thing with feathers that perches on the soul, that sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me.
Hi, I'm Hannah Pinchuk, and I will be reciting the poem Harold and the Purple Crayon by D. Gilson. Berkeley psychologist told Harold his anger was justified. What parents let their child go for a midnight walk under no moon? I couldn't have been more than 4, Harold told the doctor in her crisp beige office. Doctor, could it ever be okay for a 4-year-old to eat 9 different types of pie? Harold asked her. Call me Lisa, the doctor replied. Everyone knew Harold could draw. By sophomore year, he was critiquing grad students. By 20, Harold knew exactly when to quote Sontag, standing in front of a professor's latest pastel of Mojave succulents. This just makes me think how in place of a hermeneutics, we need an erotics of art. Harold's professors would hum and nod their dragon heads, though none of them understood exactly what Harold said. By senior year, Harold became distant, his work increasingly angry. Apple trees, the fruit rotting in monochrome purple under the notable lack of a moon. Thank you.
Fire and Ice by Robert Frost. Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice.
I am offering this poem by Jimmy Santiago Baca. I am offering this poem to you since I have nothing else to give. Keep it like a warm coat when winter comes to cover you, or like a pair of thick socks the cold cannot bite through. I love you. I have nothing else to give you, so it is a pot full of yellow corn to warm your belly in winter. It is a scarf for your head to wear over your hair, to tie up around your face. I love you. Keep it. Treasure this as you would if you were lost, needing direction. In the wilderness life becomes when mature. And in the corner of your drawer, tucked away like a cabin or hogan in dense trees, come knocking, and I will answer, give you directions, and let you warm yourself by this fire. Rest by this fire and make you feel safe. I love you. It's all I have to give and all anyone needs to live and to go on living inside when the world outside no longer cares if you live or die. Remember, I love you.
A Song in the Front Yard by Gwendolyn Brooks. I've stayed in the front yard all my life. I want a peek at the back, where it's rough and untended and hungry weed grows. A girl gets sick of a rose. I want to go in the backyard now and maybe down the alley to where the charity children play. I want a good time today. They do some wonderful things. They have some wonderful fun. My mother sneers. But I say it's fine. How they don't have to go in at 8:45. My mother, she tells me that Johnny May will grow up to be a bad woman. That George will be taken to jail soon or late on account of last winter he sold our back gate. But I say it's fine. Honest, I do. And I'd like to be a bad woman too, and wear the brave stockings of night black lace and strut down the streets with paint on my face.
A Hymn to God, the Father, by John Donne. Wilt thou forgive that sin where I begun, which was my sin, though it were done before? Wilt thou forgive that sin through which I run, and do run still, though still I do deplore? When thou hast done, thou hast not done, for I have more. wilt thou forgive that sin which I have won? Others to sin, and made my sin their door, wilt thou forgive that sin which I did shun, a year or two, but wallowed in a score? When thou hast done, thou hast not done, for I have more. I have a sin of fear, that when I have spun my last thread, I shall perish on the shore. But swear by thyself that at my death thy sun shall shine as he shines now, and heretofore. And, having done that, thou hast done. I fear no more. Thank you.
Two Guitars by Victor Hernandez Cruz. Two guitars were left in a room all alone. They sat on different corners of the parlor. In this solitude, they started talking to each other. My strings are tight and full of tears. The man who plays me has no heart. I have seen it leave out of his mouth. I have seen it melt out of his eyes. It dives into the pores of the earth. When they squeeze me tight, I bring down the angels who live off the chorus. The trio singing loosen organs with melodious screwdrivers. Sentiment comes off the hinges. Because a song is a mountain put into words. And landscape is the feeling that enters something so big in the harmony. We are always in danger of blowing up with passion. The other guitar. In 1944 in New York, when the Trio Los Panchos started with Mexican and Puerto Rican birds, I am the one that one of them held tight like a woman. Their throats, gardenia gardens, an airport for dreams. I have been in theaters and cabarets. I played in an apartment on 102nd Street after a baptism pregnant with women. The men flirted and were offered chicken soup. Echoes came out of hallways as if from caves. Someone is opening the door now. The two guitars hushed, and there was a resonance in the air, like what is left by the last chord of a bolero.
Wow, Hector, they did such an outstanding job.
That was excellent. Congratulations to all of our contestants. I feel inspired.
Yeah, and we have 10 students representing all of Los Angeles County. I mean, this is like cream of the crop here in Los Angeles for poetry. So I want to applaud all of our participants. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. The best of the best. Thank you all. The Poetry Out Loud poem is judged according to 5 categories. Those categories are physical presence, voice and articulation, dramatic appropriateness, evidence of understanding, and overall performance.
Hi, everyone. I am Marissa Herrera, and what an honor to be here to experience this amazing night of art and poetry and community and all the incredible work that you put into your performance. I know it's been a really tough, now going on 2 years, but your commitment to being part of this program and keeping your art alive has been such an inspiration to me. So thank you so much for sharing your poem and sharing your voice, and congratulations to all of you for the incredible work that you did tonight.
Hi, I'm Molly Thornton, and I want to say well done to all of you this year. Reading, studying, and performing poetry is an amazing practice, an amazing way not only to experience poems, but also to experience and relate to the world. So I hope that this practice has made you a lifelong poet, and thank you for sharing your thoughtful and practiced presentations with us.
So I'm one of the judges, but the last thing I did was judge any of your material because I am just honored to be here, and the fact that you shared your thoughts with all of us is just truly a gift, and continue to do it. I continue to search for intimate truths because I think that is the strongest way to reach a larger audience. Keep digging, keep sharing, keep being brave. Thank you so much for sharing today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shayna Rudolph. I think you've done such a wonderful, wonderful job. Thank you so much for sharing your work with us. I admire your commitment and all your hard work. So thank you again for sharing all of this with us.
Greetings, poets. This is Keisha Baines, and congratulations on sharing the power of words with everyone. I know that all of your performances are amazing, and thank you so much for using your voice to encourage all of us. Congratulations, and see you soon.
I want to thank all of our sponsors and supporters of Poetry Out Loud. Poetry Out Loud is brought to you by the National Endowment for the Arts, the California Arts Council, the Los Angeles Department of Arts and Culture, and many, many people here at the Los Angeles County Office of Education. I also want to extend my gratitude to our Poetry Out Loud local competition organizers, teachers, coaches, and students. Thank you all for everything you've done to come to the county competition.
It's almost time to announce our county finalists. All participants will be receiving a certificate through their teacher and school site. The runner-up will receive $100, and the winner will receive $500 and the opportunity to represent Los Angeles County at the state competition in March. I am honored to announce that our runner-up is Ashley Macias from San Gabriel High School. Congratulations, Ashley, you did a wonderful job.
And now for the moment we've all been waiting for. Who won the 2022 Los Angeles County Poetry Out Loud competition? Congratulations to MAIA RONN from the Archer School for Girls. Congratulations, MAIA.
And we cannot forget to thank our wonderful panel of judges. So thank you so much to Keisha Baines, Joe Hernandez-Kolsky, Marissa Herrera, Shayna Rudolph, and Molly Thornton. Visit the LA County Office of Education Poetry Out Loud website for more information. Thank you all.
On behalf of everyone here at the Los Angeles County Office of Education, thank you for attending the 2022 Poetry Out Loud competition for LA County. We are so proud of all of our student performers, and we encourage you to continue in pursuing what makes you happy and your dreams. Thank you all for coming and supporting all of our wonderful students. Have a great night.